And good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Prediction Thursday edition of Hey Scotty Mac Live, and glad that you are joining us if you're live on our Facebook page this morning, or perhaps you are listening to our audio-only podcast at www.collegegamenotes.com. We are happy to have you. Thank you for joining us. And of course, this morning we've jumped over to our regular Facebook page. Normally we're over on the Hey Scotty Mac Facebook page. You can go to Facebook, just type in a search for Hey Scotty Mac, and that's where we do everything. All of our different shows, our weekly morning shows that you're watching now, typically our Friday college football recruiting show that'll be coming up tomorrow, our Saturday morning college game day show that we preview all the games. But normally we're over on that page, but about once every 2 to 3 weeks we jump back over to my page here just to let everybody know, hey, we're here, and give you a chance to watch, and maybe you'll come over and join us starting tomorrow morning on the other page. But if you're just joining me this morning, what we do here every weekday morning right after 7 a.m. Central is we talk college football Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. And today is a special day because every Thursday we go through the games and give you our score predictions. We give you your college football headlines. We take your questions, your comments. We do it all with you. So glad you're with us. And again, if you're just joining us, the way we grow our show, and we've been doing it here for about 3 or 4 months, is that we have you hit the like button on the Facebook broadcast and hit the share button. See those two buttons there? If you would be so kind to hit the like button and the share button, we would greatly appreciate that. That helps us grow our audience, allows us to do more of what we do. We're reaching thousands of people every day. It has been phenomenal. Even some of the haters, I was telling a story yesterday. I had one of the haters sent me a message that you're not reaching that many people, just go away. And I'm kind of like laughing, and I'm like, you don't understand. First of all, even if I was only reaching one person, then that's good enough for me. I'm doing what I love, and I don't have to answer to the hierarchy and the suits that tell you what you can and can't say, and that if they're going to pay you or not. We do what we do here. If we only do it for one person, that is fantastic. Number two is, so I took off the little thing we get from Facebook. After we do a show, 24 hours later, we get a little update from Facebook, and I forwarded it over to this person who just, they were like, well, okay. Well, but anyway, we're enjoying what we're doing, and we're glad you're with us. And a way you can help us is by hitting the like button and hitting the share button this morning. We would greatly appreciate that. So I want to thank our sponsors for helping us bring you the show this morning, our good friends at Bayou Bill's Crab House in Inlet Beach in Bay County over in front of the Winn-Dixie. Also, Bayou Bill's location in Santa Rosa Beach, right there on Highway 98. It's where the locals go get seafood. Also, if you get a chance to go out there and watch all the games at Bayou Bill's, not only do they have the great restaurant, but they have the great sports bar as well. So check them out at Bayou Bill's Crab House. That is the place for seafood and more. Also, our friends at Second Amendment Shooting and Sport in Niceville. We've been telling you about Aaron Weinstock and all of those wonderful people over there. They're in Niceville. They're right across from the Sears and the Pep Boys, located on John Sims Parkway, right there in Niceville. Huge selections of guns, huge selections of silencers. They also carry a full line of accessories for all of their silencers, everything you need to start shooting suppressed. And if you need a good silencer firearm host, they carry a large line of firearms that are perfect for shooting suppressed. Everything from hunting rifles, AR platform rifles, pistol shotguns, and yes, you can put a silencer on a shotgun. Go see Hal at Second Amendment Shooting and Sport in Niceville. Really cool. Also, thanks to our friends at 98 Barbecue in Santa Rosa Beach. Best Memphis-style barbecue you're going to find. John Sealing and his staff do a great job. They have everything from pulled pork, pulled chicken, brisket, ribs. Their wings are fantastic. Their homemade chicken salad is ridiculously good. They have award-winning gumbo. They have it all there at 98 Barbecue. Go by there and have lunch. Great burgers as well at 98 Barbecue. Also want to thank some of our friends who help us bring you the show, including the Destin Commons, over 100 different stores located right there in the heart of Destin, and we appreciate their support. Also, our friends at Local Catch Bar and Grill, Blue Mountain Beach. Appreciate Jimmy and Adam and the staff there. Great fish tacos at Local Catch. Also, our friends at Acme Oyster House, located in Baytown Village in Sandestin for a couple of more weeks, and then they'll be moving out to their location right out there on Highway 98. They're already open out there in front of Seascape Golf Course, but you go by there and check them out at Acme Oyster House. Well, we got a lot to get to today, and of course, college football is on the agenda, and we're going to be previewing the games start back tonight. I know that makes everybody happy. You know, we had the weekend with all the storms, and so it feels like that we had another short week, at least for some of us here in the Florida Panhandle, and perhaps for you as well. I know Atlanta, Birmingham, Nashville, some folks were dealing with some of the storm and what have you over the last few days. But hopefully this weekend we can get a full weekend of college football without any of the storms. Get you caught up on some news and notes items of college football before we get into our predictions. First of all, of course, everybody's asking a couple of things. The Florida-Tennessee game coming up this weekend, will it still be played? Will it still be played at the Swamp? And as we told you yesterday, yes, it is still going to be played at the Swamp in Gainesville. 2:30 p.m. Central kickoff, 3:30 Eastern. That game on CBS. As it normally is, but they're going to play the game there. I saw a great story that because some of the law enforcement officials and first responders that are used at football games are being used elsewhere in recovery efforts in Central Florida, the city of Knoxville is sending a bunch of their local police and fire and what have you down to Gainesville to help work security for the game. Typically, it takes about 1,000 to 1,300 people, police officers, sheriff's deputies, ambulance folks, EMTs, other security folks to work a home game at the Swamp down at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. And obviously, a lot of the police and the sheriff's folks and first responders there in the Gainesville area are having to deal with hurricane issues of the aftermath. So they're a little shorthanded. So the city of Knoxville is sending folks down there, which is really cool. The other story people are asking about down there is what about the suspended players at Florida? Are they still suspended? Remember that Florida had 10 players suspended for that game against Michigan. Jim McElwain said yesterday that there is no update on those players. Said that they're still suspended, nothing new at this point. It will be that way, at least through this game. Of course, that means the Gators will still be without their top wide receiver, Antonio Callaway, their top running back, Jordan Scarlett, among others, over that university debit card investigation. So we'll see how that plays out. That is a big, continuing big loss for Florida. But those players, I know some people were rumoring around yesterday afternoon, those players are coming back. But Jim McElwain cleared that up for us yesterday. No, they are not back. That they're going to be playing this game without those players coming up. So now Florida Gators will wear a special helmet decal to recognize first responders for Hurricane Irma, which is really kind of cool. And you'll see that this weekend. Florida Atlantic, Lane Kiffin's team has been up in Madison, Wisconsin now for about a week. Remember, they played at Wisconsin this past week and had to stay up there because they could not get back home. And they were able to leave yesterday, finally. Wisconsin was very gracious in hosting Florida Atlantic while everything kind of settled down in South Florida. But now Florida Atlantic has returned back home to Boca Raton, and they're doing everything they can to play their game this week. We shall see. I've not heard of a lot of damage around Boca Raton. We've heard of damage in a lot of other places, but it may be that Boca Raton got through pretty good. So one thing we will see is that the Owls are scheduled to play Bethune-Cookman this week, and it appears that the game will go on as scheduled. So there you go. Also, as we told you yesterday, LSU's Arden Key is cleared. He will play. He's been going through practice this week, which is really cool. You're going to see him play against Mississippi State this week. That is big. Also, getting our injury reports yesterday and the day before from across the landscape of college football. Everything looks really good. Nothing of major significance coming out of week 2 going into week 3. And so it appears it should be most people should be at full full force going into the weekend, which is really exciting. So there you go. There's your college football news and headlines. When we come back after a very short break, we are going to start giving you our predictions. It is Prediction Thursday. That's where we go over our predictions for most of the big games in college football. Get your thoughts. Remember, if you're just joining us, we normally are over on our Hey Scotty Mac page, but about once every couple of weeks we get over on the Scott McKinney page just to, spread things around, spread the love a little bit. So if you're just finding us this morning, every weekday morning at 7 a.m. over on the Hey Scotty Mac page on Facebook, just go to Facebook, your Facebook page, type in Hey Scotty Mac, the search up the top, and that'll take you to our page. But we're up there 5 days a week, and then on Friday we do a college football recruiting show. That'll be coming tomorrow. Once a week, every Friday, we do a college football update, a recruiting show. So you want to check that out. Don't miss that tomorrow. And then every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., we have a college football kickoff show where we preview the games of the day. So that's over on our Hey Scotty Mac page on Facebook. Don't forget also we have our audio-only version of the podcast. You can find that at collegegamenotes.com. That's www.collegegamenotes.com. And there will take you to our podcast page, and you'll be able to find everything we've got going on there. So we're going to take that quick break. When we come back, we're going to get our previews in. So hold tight, everybody. We're coming right back. And welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday, game day. Yes, we have college football tonight. We have New Mexico at Boise State tonight. That game will be on ESPN at 7 o'clock tonight, so make sure that you get a little football fix going tonight. Hey, a couple of quick things to tell you about this week's copy of our issue of the Extra Point. See that? The Extra Point. There's page 1, page 2 here. This week's copy issue of the Extra Point came out last night. So it is our weekly college football email newsletter. If you're not receiving it, or maybe you've never even heard of it, where have you been? This is the 18th year we've done this. We email it to your inbox every Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It depends on what's going on. So if you would like to get information about subscribing to the Extra Point, it is loaded with information. It's got all the TV listings. It's got all the, right here, the score predictions. It's got other little tidbits. It's got our polls in there, our power rankings. Then you get over to page 2. It's got the Vegas lines. I know that's backwards, but then it's got our tidbits. It's got some other good stuff here. So we email this to people. They love getting it on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. You can print it out. People love printing out with that TV schedule, so they put it by their remote control. so that come Saturday, they've got that right there. They know where to tune in for their game. So if you'd like to get information about subscribing to the Extra Point College Football Newsletter, hey, hit me up. Email me at heyscottymac@gmail.com. That's heyscottymac@gmail.com, or you can send me a Facebook message here, and I'll get you that information. A couple other quick things. People are on fire for our weekly picks. We call them the Scott's Locks. And basically what we do is we either email or text, whichever one you prefer, on Saturday morning, our 8 to 12 games or so that we like each week against the spread. And we are off to a crazy good start. Now, it's very well documented. We're not somebody that comes back and says, oh, we picked this game, like some radio folks do, have no credibility. What we do is we give you the picks after everybody, once the games have started, then we put them up because we do have subscribers. That's part of our business model, part of what we do. We have 9 different Las Vegas handicappers that we get their picks from them. They get my picks. We got them all, put them together. And that gives, you get more than just one person looking for the games for you. You get 10 total people looking at all the games, and we call it the consensus pick. So if you want to get the Scott's Locks, and we are off to a 21-7 start. We've won 21 games. We've lost only 7. These are all against the spread. These are not just picking straight up. These are picking against the spread. That is a great start. If you want to get the Scott's Locks, you can email me at heyscottymac@gmail.com. That's heyscottymac@gmail.com. We have already identified, I think, let me look here because I was working on this. We work on it all week here. Man, my notebook is chock full. Let's see. Here, the games that we're already looking at for this week include Kansas State at Vandy, UCLA at Memphis, TCU versus SMU, Tennessee at Florida, Oregon at Wyoming, LSU at Mississippi State, Iowa State at Akron, Duke versus Baylor, Middle Tennessee State versus Minnesota, Virginia Tech versus East Carolina, Purdue versus Missouri, and then there's like 3 others. But those are the games. What we do is we narrow them down. So if you want to get our picks, and those appear to be the best games of the weekend and what our picks are, email me at heyscottymac@gmail.com. That's heyscottymac@gmail.com. And I will definitely make sure to get you the information about subscribing to our picks. Now, we're going to give you our score predictions. Now, keep in mind that our score predictions that I'm about to give you are not the game's researched picks. These are what we do. These are our picks here, and they're on our newsletter. But I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to give you our score predictions of what we see coming up for this week. And we'll start with tonight's Boise State-New Mexico game. Boise State and New Mexico. New Mexico's got all kind of problems. Bob Davie, a coach out there, is being investigated for player abuse now. It came out yesterday. Boise is trying to get this thing going in the right direction. What I think you're going to see on the blue turf tonight, I think you're going to see Boise roll. We've got Boise State winning that game 43-13. Coming up tomorrow, we got a handful of games tomorrow. Let's start with Illinois at South Florida. Charlie Strong, South Florida Bulls, man, they've been battling hurricanes and long road trips out to California and other places. South Florida, though, will take care of business. They'll beat Lovie Smith's Illinois Fighting Illini 38-10 tomorrow night. Also on Friday night, you've got UMass at Temple. We've got Temple, a pretty good football team, by the way, beating UMass 33-7. Also, the late game Friday night on ESPN, Arizona will travel out to the desert to take on, well, they're in the desert, but they'll travel even further into the desert to take on Texas El Paso. UTEP is kind of funny because it used to be, we all said that UTEP, did not stand for University of Texas El Paso. It stood for You Take 'em Points. That's not the case anymore. UTEP went on this crazy stretch where they won a bunch of games against the spread about 4 or 5 years ago, but they're kind of back to being UTEP. Arizona rolls Friday night 42-17. All right, let's look at some games coming up on Saturday, teams of interest especially. Texas A&M hosting Louisiana Lafayette, and poor Kevin Sumlin is in deep, deep water out there. They had that big lead against UCLA and came back. UCLA came back, won the game. They're late. I still have people every week goes, no, UCLA didn't win that game. I watched it. I turned it off at halftime. Texas A&M blew them out. And I said, no, you need to go back because in the second half, UCLA came back and beat Texas A&M. It was crazy. And so they'll go back and look, oh, man, I didn't know that. Then you come back last week. They come home against a FCS team, Nichols, and they struggle. They barely win. So right now things are not good at Texas A&M, and everything's pointing to a date in mid to late October in which Texas A&M has an open date following a very brutal schedule. And in all likelihood, that'll be when Kevin Sumlin gets fired unless they can figure this thing out. What you see with Texas A&M right now, and having worked in college athletics myself, I will tell you, I've seen this. Okay, I've seen this happen, and I hate it when it happens. You can tell when a team essentially, either you can call it giving up, you can call it they're not playing hard. But that's where Texas A&M, they don't have that closeness, that chemistry. You've got a bunch of different factions out there, and it's almost like the players are saying, well, we're going to lose our coach anyway, so what's the point? And I've seen that. I've worked in college athletics all those years, and I've seen that happen. You can tell when a team starts losing its togetherness and its chemistry, and that's what's happened to Texas A&M, and they're in trouble. They're in deep, deep trouble. But they should have enough to beat Louisiana Lafayette, and I've got A&M winning 35-14. It could be close early, but they'll pull away. Moving on down the list here, Oklahoma State is at Pittsburgh. They'll play that game at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh coming up on Saturday. That game, you look at Oklahoma State, they are poising themselves for bedlam. They just want to get through every game and get their opportunity against Oklahoma later in the year. Oklahoma State will roll over Pittsburgh 44-10. Virginia has UConn this weekend, and UConn's going to give Virginia a little bit of a battle, but I think UConn pulls this one out late, 26-17. Nebraska coming off that tough loss at Oregon. They got way behind, and then they battled back a little too late, dollar short. Nebraska will beat Northern Illinois this weekend, 45-14. UCLA will travel cross country to Memphis, over to the Orange Mound, Mid-South Fairgrounds area where Liberty Bowl Stadium is. What a dump of a stadium that is, and what a dump of a area that is. But they're really, I got to take my hat off to Memphis. I'm wearing an Oak Hall hat, by the way, one of the great men's clothing stores in Memphis. I love Memphis, don't get me wrong. I love Oak Hall. I love Huey's Hamburgers. I love Rendezvous Ribs. I love Neely's Barbecue, Interstate Barbecue. I love all these wonderful things about Memphis. But, man, Liberty Bowl Stadium is just, it's old. I mean, you're talking about a stadium that's been around forever, and the city of Memphis will not get off their keisters and build these folks a new stadium. City of Memphis, the mayor, the county mayor, the city mayor, those people need to wake up and realize that they're letting all these other, especially southern sports towns, pass them by not having a new stadium. They say, well, they don't have an NFL team. No, they don't. But they should team up with the University of Memphis and build a stadium. You do have a major bowl game there. It's not a New Year's Day bowl, but you'd like to get to that. You've got FedEx World Headquarters there. You've got a lot of other companies have their world headquarters in Memphis. Memphis, this is the time for you to tear down Liberty Bowl Stadium and build something new and nice. It doesn't have to be a Jerry Jones type stadium or a MetLife Stadium out of New York. Look, build a 60 to 75,000 seat stadium. Build it nice. University of Memphis can use it. You can host other events there. Memphis has talked about a minor league soccer team. There's so many things Memphis can do. You got a huge game coming up Saturday morning at Liberty Bowl Stadium. UCLA comes in. Josh Rosen is just fantastic. I don't think Memphis is going to have too much for them. I've got UCLA winning this one 47-21. But you're going to see for yourself, turn on ESPN, ABC Saturday morning, and see for yourself how bad Liberty Bowl Stadium is in Memphis. It is atrocious. It is so bad. Iowa State will beat Akron this weekend, 34-13. Poor Terry Bowden's Akron Zips continue to struggle. Michigan, the Wolverines. Our Michigan friends here in the Panhandle, we tell you that this Michigan team is a little bit focused on a roll. They've got a big game coming up just a couple of weeks away, but they've got Air Force this weekend. They'll beat Air Force 38-7. Duke will host Baylor this weekend over there in Durham, North Carolina. David Cutcliffe's Duke Blue Devils had a big win last week. Boy, Coach Cutt really has Duke, this program, pointing in the right direction. Duke will beat Baylor, who is really struggling. I mean, times are really bad for Baylor athletics right now. They have just gone from the penthouse to the outhouse. Duke will beat Baylor 39-14. UAB hosting Coastal Carolina, big game in Birmingham at Legion Field, and UAB will beat a pretty good Coastal Carolina team 21-20. Colorado, Mike McIntyre's Colorado team traveling, or will stay at home, I should say, to take on Northern Colorado. Remember, Northern Colorado was scheduled to go to Gainesville last week to play the Gators. That game got canceled because of Hurricane Irma. So Colorado now will play Northern Colorado, and I've got the Buffaloes winning 47-10. Wake Forest will beat Utah State this weekend 31-13. North Carolina Old Dominion. Now let me just tell you, here's a North Carolina team that it really is struggling, and they are fighting to get this thing going back in the right direction. You know, Larry Fedora, the head coach at North Carolina, great guy. He was a longtime assistant under Steve Spurrier at Florida, worked with some other coaches, did a great job at Southern Miss, and really has gotten North Carolina football going in the right direction. But they're off to a difficult start this year, but they're playing a very good Old Dominion team. Now, don't sleep on Old Dominion. The Monarchs have been a factor in the FCS playoffs. They've been a factor in a lot of big games over the last few years. They're not going to come in and roll over. This game will be close, but I've got North Carolina winning 37-26. Rutgers will beat Morgan State this weekend, 55-3. Of course, Rutgers still reeling after that upset loss last week. Iowa will host North Texas this weekend, the Mean Green, and Iowa rolls 39-7. Middle Tennessee State is a team to keep an eye on. You know, they lost to Vandy, but I will tell you that they're not a terrible football team. Minnesota will host the Blue Raiders this weekend, and Minnesota will squeak one out 27-23 over Middle Tennessee State University. All right, we're going to continue picking games. We're going to take a quick break. We're trying to get caught up on all of our stuff here. Don't forget that the Extra Point College Football Newsletter is out. So if you have not subscribed to that, let me move that there. The Extra Point College Football Newsletter, just email us at heyscottymac@gmail.com. That's heyscottymac@gmail.com, and I will make sure to get you the information about subscribing to the newsletter. We'd love to have you be a part of what we do there. So also, good morning to Travis watching from Dover, Delaware. He says, no SEC coverage here. I miss living on the Intramural Coast. Well, Travis, good morning. That's that's what I love about this new way of doing our shows. We have people watching and listening to the podcast from all over. We've had people check in. I think it's like 17 or 18 different states. We've had people check in from England, from Iceland, from Greenland, from Finland, from Sweden. We've had folks check in from South Africa. We've had folks check in from the Caribbean to let us know last week about the storm. And also, wherever you're watching this morning, thank you so much. Or if you're listening to our podcast, our audio-only podcast, hey, subscribe to the podcast. Go to collegegamenotes.com and subscribe to the podcast. And if you're just joining us, please hit the like button and the share button on the Facebook broadcast if that's how you're getting the show. That helps us grow our audience. That helps us do the things that we have to do to keep this thing rolling, and we're very blessed to do what we do. So if you haven't hit the like button or the share button, please do that this morning. I would greatly appreciate that. And check out our audio-only podcast we put up about 30 minutes after the show at the website collegegamenotes.com. That's collegegamenotes.com. And while we go to this quick break and get everything reset and come back and continue our predictions, here's what I want you to do. If you are watching on Facebook Live, just send us a quick little message. Don't do it while you're driving, but even if you're watching on Facebook later in the day, because we put the video up later in the day as well. But if you would, go ahead and just type in your city and state where you're watching from this morning. Would you do that for us? I would greatly appreciate that. That means a lot. So go ahead and type in where you're watching and listening from on Facebook this morning. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, continue doing our game predictions for the weekend. We are pumped. It's going to be a fun college football weekend, and you are watching Hey Scotty Mac Live. And welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Hey Scotty Mac Live Facebook Live show, or if you're perhaps listening on our audio-only podcast, welcome back to that. It is, of course, found at collegegamenotes.com. And when you go there, you can download the podcast. You can listen to it yourself. You can download it to listen to later. You can find it on the iTunes store as well. Man, things are jumping. Again, thanks to our great sponsors at I want to just mention this. I couldn't do what we do. I just couldn't do. Our great sponsors, I couldn't do what we do without them. Our friends at my-pack.com, these amazing backpacks, they're still available. School may have started, but you know what? It's never too late. Christmas is coming up. You can get a backpack for Christmas. And again, the thing people love is this plastic window where you can print out whatever you want and slide it right in there. How about that? Different cartoon character, different sports picture of your kids, a picture of their favorite sports team logos, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, whoever. This thing is so cool, and the only place you can get it is my-pak.com. That's my-pak.com, and you can really help out our friends affected by the hurricanes in Florida and in Texas. You can get one of these backpacks and have it sent to hurricane relief. So the only place you can get it is on their website at my-pak.com. That's my-pak.com. Also, our friends at Second Amendment Shooting and Sport in Niceville, located in John Sims Parkway, right across from the Sears, right across from the Pep Boys. I mean, you can't miss it. It is a great place if you're a gun enthusiast, if you are someone who absolutely loves shooting and shooting sport. Man, they do everything. They have the largest selection of short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, and AOWs, and they have the largest selection of silencers featuring Dead Air, Silencer Co., and Rugged. And they can order any silencer you may find or need. If you find one that maybe has come out somewhere else, you go in and see my buddy Aaron, and he can get you whatever silencer you want ordered, which is really cool. Also, we want to thank our friends at Bayou Bill's Crab House, located at Inlet Beach over there in Bay County in front of the Winn-Dixie. Well, what a great place to go over there to watch games, eat seafood, the best local, freshly prepared seafood you're going to find anywhere. Nothing's ever frozen. It's all freshly prepared. You can also go to their store in Santa Rosa Beach right there on Highway 98 and enjoy these wonderful crabs, the Choctachi Bay blue crabs, the fresh shrimp, the amazing grouper, snapper. It is unreal. And plus, Patrick does a great job with his ribs. His barbecue ribs are fall off the bone good. They are that good. So check them out at Bayou Bill's Crab House, located there at Santa Rosa Beach and Inlet Beach. And hey, if you're like me, we were just talking about this last night, we're talking about, well, we should go watch the Ole Miss game this weekend. We're being Ole Miss alumni and Ole Miss fans. They play at Cal Berkeley this weekend at Cal Bears. And I said, I don't want to go to the typical sports bar because, you get a little bit older, it gets a little bit louder. But you can go to Bayou Bill's. They've got a sports bar that's kind of laid back. They have huge TVs, great food, great drink, incredible atmosphere. So join me at Bayou Bill's this weekend to watch a little college football because that's definitely where we're going to be. Also, want to thank our friends this morning at 98 Barbecue, John Sealing and the amazing staff there. They sponsor our Game of the Week. I got to tell you about that in just a minute. The great barbecue, burgers, and more, all the incredible sandwiches, salads, everything's freshly prepared at 98 Barbecue. And if you've got a taste, a hankering, as we say, for real barbecue, don't go to some of these places, you go there and you can tell it's not good. I mean, it's just not good. Go to a place you can trust. 98 Barbecue has been around for 20 years, and we appreciate 98 Barbecue and John Sealing for sponsoring the show and sponsoring our Game of the Week, which I got to tell you, in case you missed it yesterday, we have not one, but two 98 Barbecue Games of the Week this week. That's right. You got a chance to win two 98 Barbecue gift cards. We have a $20 gift card for the winner of each one of these games. The first game, obviously, Florida and Tennessee. So you want to text in or put in right here your score prediction on the Facebook page for the Florida-Tennessee game. That's game one. Game two, Clemson and Louisville. Huge game this week. We've been talking about it all week up at Louisville. The big game in college football. That's where ESPN College Game Day is going to be. So text or type in your score prediction for the Clemson-Louisville game as well. So you've got a chance to win not one $20 gift card from 98 Barbecue. You've got a chance to win two. You could win them both. I'd love to have somebody win them both. We do that maybe once, twice, 3 times a year. We've never had anybody win both cards. Normally we just have one game a week, but the weekends that we have 2 games, I've never had anybody win both gift cards. It would be really, really nice to have somebody do that. It'd be kind of fun to see somebody. So get your picks in. You've got until 9 a.m. Saturday morning. You can post them here on our Facebook page, or you can text in on our show text line, which, I just unplugged, which is 850-460-0326. 850-460-0326. But remember to put your name on it and where you're texting from so that we can get that done for you, okay? Hey, by the way, before we get back, we've already finished half of our score predictions for the weekend. We're about to do the rest of the games. Just let's do a shout-out. People who are posting on Facebook right now on our Facebook Live. There's my buddy Auburn Willie. Says, what's up, my man? Have a great day. Good morning, Auburn Willie. You guys go out and see Auburn Willie at Bruno's Pizza out there on 30A and Water Sound area. They have an incredible lunch buffet. That is by far the best pizza I've ever had in my life at Bruno's Pizza. It is so good. And Mark has been a dear friend and runs the place out there with a couple other folks and just does a great job. And I love Mark. And I need to get out there and talk to Mark because I want to find out what's wrong with Auburn's offense. And Auburn Willie is his nickname, Mark Williams. A lot of people know him as Auburn Willie. If anybody knows what's wrong with the Auburn offense, it's going to be Auburn Willie. I'm telling you. But I love him. I got to get out there and say hello to him. I've just been so busy. So, Willie, I love you, buddy, and I will definitely give you a shout. Let's see here. There's our buddy LSU Melinda checking in this morning from Pensacola. Good morning, Linda. How are you? Want to say hello to her. Let's see. Who else is saying hello this morning? Mark saying hello to us from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Good morning, Mark. How are you doing? There's Jeff saying hello this morning from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? There's Bill checking in this morning, listening to us in Des Moines, Iowa. Hello, Bill. He says, I enjoy hearing you on our local sports talk show up here every Tuesday. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. We'd love it too, so thank you so much. We appreciate that. Again, if you're just joining us, remember to hit the like button, hit the share button if you would. But also, if you've got a question or comment, type it in there. I will definitely say hello to you. Love giving you a big shout out as well. And love seeing you guys check in with us. And also, don't forget that if you missed the live show here, we do 2 things. Number 1, we put the audio and video back up on Facebook so you can go back and watch it later in the day. So you can watch it tonight or whatever. But you can also download the audio-only version of the show. Typically about 30 minutes after our live show is over, we put the podcast audio up at collegegamenotes.com. That's collegegamenotes.com. Go and subscribe to our podcast page. You can download them. You can get them on iTunes as well. So go check it out at collegegamenotes.com. All right, let's get back to our score predictions. We've made it about halfway through. Let's continue. Wisconsin traveling to BYU this week. Wisconsin, boy, battling a lot of injuries. They've already lost 2 of their starting linebackers. They've got a couple other guys beat up. This is going to be a tight physical game, but I think Wisconsin pulls away late. We've got Wisconsin winning 34-17. Virginia Tech going over on the road to take on East Carolina. Boy, what a crazy fall East Carolina's program has had. They have just fallen off the end here. They are just not good. Virginia Tech's going to roll in this one 37-3. Notre Dame traveling up to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Notre Dame still reeling after that loss to Georgia last week. Notre Dame will have another dogfight on its hand, but they will edge out Boston College 25-17. Purdue will beat Missouri there in Columbia 26-23. Missouri, everybody got excited when they beat Missouri State as bad as they did, and I'm telling people, Missouri State's terrible. So what? You scored 70 points on Missouri State. I mean, that's like Alabama bragging that they might score 70 points on West Alabama, or North Alabama, or Alabama A&M. I mean, no disrespect to those teams, but it's a different class of folks. As a matter of fact, our 5-star lock of the weekend on our Scott's Locks last weekend, our 5-star lock of the weekend was South Carolina over Missouri. I mean, that was lockage. And lockage, that's why our Scott's locks are off to such a great start. I mean, I don't know who sets those lines sometimes. I'm like, that's crazy. So we got a couple more like that this weekend, too. You want to get our locks now. You want to email us at heyscottymac@gmail.com. Purdue will beat Missouri. Purdue's struggling as well, but Purdue will beat Missouri this week 26-23. Auburn struggling offensively. They'll get the offensive woes as corrected as much as you can when you play a team like Mercer. I've got Auburn beating Mercer 58-7. Ohio State may struggle a little bit with Army early on. Army spent the entire offseason installing the Navy offense, which is a offense obviously much like Georgia Tech. And we'll see if Ohio State can stop that. But athletes make the difference in this game. Ohio State beats Army 42-7. Washington State will beat Oregon State 48-8. That game, Oregon State continues to struggle as well. They just cannot find an answer out there whatsoever. Oklahoma comes home after the big win at Ohio State and blows out Tulane 49-6. Toledo, holy Toledo, they'll beat Tulsa 34-17. Western Michigan, no problem with Idaho this weekend, 37-7. Western Kentucky will beat Louisiana Tech 31-14. Oregon goes on the road to Laramie, Wyoming, and they will beat the Cowboys 47-13. Alabama welcomes Colorado State to Tuscaloosa. Colorado State is not a terrible team whatsoever, but Alabama wins this one 44-13. LSU goes on the road to Mississippi State. I was on a show in Baton Rouge yesterday, our friend Tommy Chrysan show over there at CBS Sports Radio, 9-10 a.m. in Baton Rouge. I'm on there every Wednesday afternoon. We were talking about this. He said, the LSU fans are a little bit, cautious about this game in Starkville. But here's a little tidbit for you. Mississippi State has not beat, listen to this, Mississippi State has not defeated LSU in Starkville since October of 1999. Now think about that for a minute. LSU has won 8 straight games over Mississippi State in Starkville. And the last time Mississippi State beat LSU in Starkville was October of 1999. It's been a few years. It's not going to break that streak this week either. LSU is really good, a lot better than I think people think. Arden Key is coming back this week. I've got LSU beating Mississippi State 36-17. I think Dan Mullen is doing a great job, but I think he runs into a buzzsaw this weekend in a very good LSU team. Southern Miss, Jay Hobson's team will travel over to Monroe, Louisiana. They beat Louisiana Monroe 28-14. Penn State has no trouble with Georgia State this weekend, 52-7. Kansas State will beat Vandy 35-21. You've got Georgia beating Samford 45-10, and that's Samford out of Birmingham, okay? I've got South Carolina beating Kentucky 23-21, and the Gamecocks go to 3-0. Southern Cal will have their way with Texas, a rematch of the 2003 BCS National Championship game, and I've got USC winning 43-21. Washington beats Fresno State 40-10. Ole Miss will squeak one out on the road at Cal, 38-31. And then a couple of other scores to share with you that everybody's asking about, the big Louisville-Clemson game. I've got Louisville winning at home. I think Lamar Jackson's going to find a way to get it done. I've got Louisville winning 23-17. And then I've got Tennessee upsetting the Florida Gators. Now, I've been on Tennessee bad. I mean, how bad they're going to be. But I'm going to tell you, they've impressed me the first couple of weeks. Florida's still with all those players suspended, including their top running back, including their top quarterback. Florida needed to play last week to kind of work out some of the problems from the Michigan game. They weren't able to play because of Hurricane Irma. So they've had a couple of weeks off. That Florida offensive line is not going to get that much better that quickly. I like Tennessee to win a close one over Florida, 28-24 in the Swamp. So there you go. All right, everybody, we are going to get on out of here for the day. We've had a great morning. Hey, don't forget now, we're going to be back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with our Friday morning show. We do it every weekday morning at 7. Now, as I said earlier, you're watching on the Scott McKinney page this morning. We come over here and do this show about once every couple of weeks. Normally, every weekday morning, we're over on the other page. So please go over there and find that page, like that page for us. Just go to Facebook, your own Facebook page, and at the very top, just type in, Hey Scotty Mac, and that will take you to our page. And that way you'll be able to see not only our weekday morning broadcast, But our special broadcast in the afternoons, we have breaking news. And then every Friday, of course, tomorrow being Friday, we will have our college football recruiting roundup. We do a weekly recruiting roundup show every Friday, so that's coming up tomorrow on Facebook. Plus, we'll post it on our podcast page. And then Saturday morning, every Saturday morning around 9 a.m. Central, we have our college football kickoff show where we preview the games, give you our scores, talk a little college football with you. That can be found here on our Facebook page, facebook.com, and just search for Hey Scotty Mac, or on our podcast page, which is at collegegamenotes.com. That's collegegamenotes.com. So when you go to collegegamenotes.com, that will take you to our podcast page, okay? Also, a couple of quick things. Don't forget the Extra Point is out for this week. This week's issue, this week's edition is out. If you'd like to subscribe and get those, just email me. HeyScottyMac@gmail.com. That's HeyScottyMac@gmail.com, and I'll get you the information about subscribing. And then also our Scott's Locks will be coming out Saturday morning. We're 21-7 against the spread already this year, off to a great start. We encourage you, hey, get these locks. We got a special deal going this weekend. You use the promo code PICK6. The promo code PICK6. You get our picks for the weekend for only $25. That's all the picks we do all weekend. So, and people are loving it for us. I had somebody yesterday that sent me a $50 gift card to a local restaurant because we were off to such a good start, and we were putting money in his pocket. I said, I like it. I don't bet on the games, so that makes it a little bit easier for me. I can go give you a fair assessment. And like I said, we have 9 other handicappers out in Vegas that we all work together to come up with a consensus of games. It's really kind of a cool process. So you're getting 10 different people looking at these games, making the decisions of where the best plays are. So check it out. You can email me at heyscottymac@gmail.com, and I will definitely get you the information about subscribing to our Scott's Locks picks. And last week is growing. First week we had a few people. Last week we had a handful of people. So hopefully this week we'll have an even larger number of people checking it out. So thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great Thursday today. There's so much going on out there. Just know that we love you, and we're very blessed to be able to share this time with you. Don't forget, the audio and video of this show will be right back up here on Facebook after we finish. And you can download the audio version only at collegegamenotes.com. That's www.collegegamenotes.com. So have a great Thursday, everybody. We will be back with you tomorrow morning, bright and early. So make sure you find us, because it'll be our Friday game day edition, our Friday football bonanza edition, where we go over all the notes and the latest news and information and getting you set for the weekend. So have a great Thursday, everybody. We love you guys.